Will armored convoys or ordinary citizens define October 18th's streets? Maya brings the community, de-escalation, and rights perspective. Leo brings forensic skepticism about claims and crowd control. Tonight, we separate verified facts from panic, because how this unfolds matters to every American. Tonight, the streets are the story. Officials warn of unrest. Organizers promise peace. The clash between those narratives is about to be tested on October 18th with a second No King's Day.
And it is not abstract. People have trained de-escalators, legal observers, community care teams. They're saying, we will not be bullied into silence. That urgency is real.
Or it's political theater. Some folks are branding it a Love America rally. Others see a Hate America jamboree. I'm skeptical of the rebrand. Protests don't get holiness just by saying so.
Facts first. Organizers say more than 2,500 events are planned nationwide, with big city turnouts expected. The coalition frames this as a First Amendment celebration. On October 16th, Texas Governor Greg Abbott surged state troopers, Texas Rangers, special agents, and the Texas National Guard into Austin ahead of a Capitol protest, aircraft and tactical assets included.
Abbott called it preempting an antifa-linked demo, which organizers reject. Local Austin leaders labeled the deployment disappointing and a waste of taxpayer money when Texans face real needs.
He also said violence and destruction will not be tolerated. That's basic governance. If you're truly peaceful, you should welcome police standing by to deal with the few who are not.
The White House line, they're focused on stopping so-called left-wing violence. Critics counter that federal and state militarized presences can intimidate or provoke peaceful crowds.
Civil liberties groups, including the ACLU, warn that deploying troops and armed federal agents is an intentional tactic to sow fear. That resonates after recent federal deployments in multiple cities.
Hold on. June's No King's Day had some confrontations. Don't rewrite that. Support your speech, sure, but own your crowd control. Don't blame every scuffle on a phantom provocateur.
For context, June was widely reported as largely peaceful across many cities, with isolated incidents. There were legal fights over federal and state deployments, and a federal judge did curb one overreach.
Which is why organizers are doubling down on safety. Clear guidelines, know your rights trainings, especially where federal forces have been active. People want their voices heard without being kettled.
Meanwhile, Republican leaders are calling this a Hate America rally. They warn of antifa types and Marxists showing up. You can mock the wording, but that's how a lot of voters see it.
And Senator Bernie Sanders called it a Love America rally. People protesting healthcare cuts and creeping authoritarianism. He's saying, let's debate issues, not smear dissent as unpatriotic.
Celebrities jumping in doesn't help your case. The lecture circuit from Hollywood plays badly in places far from Los Angeles. It looks like elites cosplaying resistance.
Public rhetoric is hot. Some officials freight the protests with antifa ties. Organizers say there is no evidence of such links and stress nonviolence. That conflict matters to how police respond.
In Boston, activists are on heightened alert after an earlier rally turned violent and felony charges followed. They're deploying safety teams and legal observers to keep things calm.
Portland officials warn about unpredictable federal agents? Sure, but the public also worries about masked agitators. Both can be true. That's why people want rules enforced, not hand-wringing.
Let's draw a line between verified and viral. One viral video claims Navy warships could fire live missiles into Camp Pendleton during Marine Corps celebrations, prompting Interstate 5 closures. Our verified brief does not confirm that. It does document heightened deployments, tense rhetoric, and organizers' safety planning. We'll flag the missile claim as unverified and watch for official notices.
Fair. What is confirmed is a climate of intimidation. Troops visible in Washington, Los Angeles, Chicago in recent months, court challenges, and a push to keep protests peaceful despite that.
And what's also real is public safety. If states surge resources to deter criminal mischief, that's not fascism by default. It's a bet that peace holds because bad actors know there's a perimeter.
Unresolved questions. The nature of any antifa links. The scope of Texas deployments beyond Austin. And turnout. Organizers predict record numbers, but actual counts are unknowable before the day.
On turnout, small towns matter. New indivisible chapters in rural districts are mobilizing. That undercuts the caricature that this is just coastal elites. It is broader than that this time.
Or it's a redo because June underwhelmed. If this is truly mass, we'll see. Predicting millions is easy. Delivering millions is not. I'll wait for headcounts instead of hype.
Legal backdrop now. A constitutional lawyer on a public forum described the Insurrection Act as the closest thing we have to a statutory green light for military roles in domestic crises.
He noted it carves around the posse comitatus limits and worried about a pretext, where a fringe incident is amplified to justify military deployment. That risk should make everyone careful.
But we have courts, governors, and cops. We've had real riots and did not suspend the republic. If local police can handle it, as they usually can, then calm down about martial law fantasies.
Courts do act, but often slowly. That same legal voice warned that an invocation could have immediate effects, while challenges wind through weeks of litigation. Speed matters in crises.
Which is why discipline is key. As we discussed, de-escalation, legal observers, and clear marshalling can deny any pretext. Peaceful protest is both a right and a strategy.
Strategy cuts both ways. If you want credibility, denounce vandalism instantly, cooperate with lawful orders, and stop letting partisan influencers set your narrative from a studio.
Political framing is intense. Republican officials have labeled no kings dangerous or extremist. Democratic lawmakers and organizers frame it as a defense of free speech and democratic norms.
Senator Chris Murphy said labeling peaceful protesters as terrorists is an attempt to scare people into staying home. The founding idea is that criticism of government is patriotic, not treasonous.
And House leaders say, watch who shows up. Antifa types, pro-Hamas cranks, Marxists. You might not like it, but they're warning their base about what they believe is coming. Politics is messaging.
Another contradiction. Some officials call Antifa a terrorist group, while past federal law enforcement assessments described it as decentralized. That definitional gap shapes policy and policing.
And it shapes fear. When state leaders pre-badge a protest as extremist, they prime the public to see danger. If a single trash can burns, it becomes the defining image on endless loop.
Which is also on protest organizers. Control your space. Don't let black bloc theatrics hijack your message. If you say no kings, then act like citizens, not arsonists.
City variations matter. In Boston, safety teams and legal observers. In Portland, concern about federal agents' unpredictability. In smaller towns, new chapters show the movement's reach beyond coasts.
Those local textures are the story. A grandmother marshalling in a rural square is a different picture than a federal standoff downtown. Both are democracy in action if peaceful.
And both can be hijacked. Outside agitators exist, sure, but so do opportunists on social media inflating rumors. The missile chatter is a perfect example. Sensational, thinly sourced.
To be clear, our verified brief does not confirm missile plans or freeway shutdowns. If authorities issue public notices, we'll report them. Until then, caution is prudent across the board.
What we can confirm is the stakes. People will march for healthcare, for fair elections, against authoritarian overreach. That is why a broad coalition trained for nonviolence is out there.
And critics will show up too. Counter-speech is speech. If you want to persuade, lead with solutions, not apocalypse. Voters crave order and personal responsibility more than slogans.
Quick recap as we pivot. Deployments are up in Texas, rhetoric is sharp, organizers stress peace, and key questions remain about turnout and policing thresholds. Now, the practical impacts.
A heavy military presence can chill assembly rights. People decide not to bring kids or not to show up. That's the quiet victory of intimidation. Fewer voices in public squares.
Or it reassures families that they can attend safely. I've talked to folks who say, if state police are there, I go. If not, I stay home. Security is not the enemy of liberty by default.
June's legal fights are instructive. Courts can check excesses, but they react after the fact. That puts a premium on disciplined crowds and measured policing to avoid flashpoints in the first place.
And on press freedom. When scrutiny narrows, rumors thrive. Independent observers and accurate reporting reduce panic and reduce the chance that a small clash becomes a national pretext.
Media bias cuts both ways. Legacy outlets chase flames, partisan channels chase clicks. Citizens should be picky about sources, and officials should brief clearly to kill bad rumors fast.
We should also flag one more uncertainty: whether Texas will deploy guard units beyond Austin. The governor referenced thousands of troopers statewide, but other city plans were unclear at announcement time.
If that expands, watch for ACLU lawsuits and local pushback. Cities have sued before when federal or out-of-state forces showed up uninvited. The law here is not a blank check.
And watch for political incentives. Some Democrats want a big, peaceful flex. Some Republicans want a public safety win. Both sides will spin the same footage to their ends. Count on it.
Before we close, let's give space to the core contention. Maya, what's the moral center of these marches, in your view? Keep it to the verified frame.
Free speech and democratic guardrails. People insist on nonviolence, de-escalation, and dignity, and they reject being labeled terrorists for using constitutional rights. That's the heart of it.
And my charge back? Prove it. Police yourselves, reject fringe banners, cooperate with lawful orders, and make this about ideas, not chaos. Show the country you mean what you say.
Last recap, we've mapped the official timeline, the contested claims, the legal boundaries, and the political stakes. Now, what to watch on October 18th? Tone, turnout, and thresholds.
Tone, do de-escalation teams keep things calm under pressure? Turnout, do small towns show up as promised? Thresholds, do authorities escalate or communicate and step back when crowds are peaceful?
Also, watch for narratives. Who frames the first clip that goes viral, and does it match what most people experienced on the ground? The story can be hijacked in 5 seconds flat.
We'll be here after the marches to separate signal from noise. Until then, verify before you share, plan before you march, and remember, rights are strongest when exercised responsibly. See you after Saturday.